So joining us today is our law enforcement expert, Dr. Pill, here to help keep the viewers out of prison and give them a strategy if they come under police detection.
Hello there, I'm Dr. Pill. It's great to be on your show, Jeff. And here's Sergeant Borsinos. Hello, you corrupt cop, Sergeant Borsinos.
Now, as we know, the corruption is rampant all throughout the Victorian police force. We have innocent people going to jail, people being stitched up, framed for crimes that they didn't do. Dr. Pill is going to provide you with a solution. So, Doctor, a lot of people fall prey to corrupt police. What would be one of the best strategies?
The solution to provide people being locked up innocently is a true thing, and a lot of them are being locked up because their lawyers aren't doing the right job. The misconduct, the professional standards did not correct the incorrect, the statements that were false. And they're not going to incriminate themselves when they already have incriminated themselves. And you're right. And the only way to make sure that you don't go to jail when you're innocent is always say, what did I do wrong from the start? They have to give you that answer.
Would it be wise for someone to let the police enter their house without asking for a search warrant?
Again, if you're going to let any officer that proves and identifies that he's an officer, let him do his job. Just let him do his job. You got nothing to worry about. Come right in, have a coffee, do whatever you want. And then after he's completed the investigation, then. But you have the right to ask for a search warrant. And if they don't have a search warrant, then it's your choice to choose to say, okay, you don't have a search warrant or you do. Is that what you're saying in that level? Whether
Absolutely.
they have one or don't? And if they don't reveal a search warrant, well then, it's up to your choice. But the question is, if you have nothing to hide, it's okay. Because the problem we have, these police officers, they're doing their job. Let them do their job. If they're going to do something that's going to incriminate you, then it's their job to make sure they clear your name in anything they do. Am I sort of understanding the picture here? That's important. Now, when you mentioned about a search warrant, the question is, yeah, I know what the law is, but if the officer hasn't got a search warrant, then it's your choice to decide to say whether, no, you need to go back and get me a search warrant before you enter the premises. Does it make sense? Or you can then deny him to come inside without a search warrant, which I think it is legal, your right to do.
Very good advice, Doctor. Now, if someone's being questioned by the police, it's always advised to ask the question, am I being detained or am I free to leave?
That is a good question. It happened with Mr. Galucha. Same thing what you say is, hold it right there. Am I arrested? Are you putting me under arrest? Are you reading my rights? Now, the rights have to be read. And when they say, oh, you're being under arrest for questioning, I said, no, okay, so you're placing me under arrest. And if you don't charge me, you got to make sure that if you don't charge me, you got to make sure that you say, well, I want my name vindicated in writing. And if you don't, then I have every right to pursue a course of action that you committed a criminal offense yourself. The officer's committed a crime. Because they can't arrest you unless the evidence is there. It's not just saying, hey, hold it right there, we just want to arrest you so we can take you in and have fun with you. No. Because once you're arrested, remember, even though you don't get charged, it's just as a conviction. It's just as worse as a conviction, being convicted or being charged. Because when you get under arrest, the detrimental effects it has to you and your family, to everybody, to your job, to your character, it's destroyed. Because being arrested is a serious thing. It's not something that's got to be taken lightly.
Absolutely. It really affects someone's employment history. It can jeopardize personal and family situations. It can have a whole range of problems that one can encounter when they fall in a wrong place with the law. So the predatory behaviour that people are experiencing, how can they avoid that?
Holy shit! Holy macaroni! Yeah, the predatory behavior of some officers, suffering from some kind of psychological psychotic psychosis with a major fatalistica satanistica. In Einstein's turn, they're just compulsive liars. So when an officer lies about you, Jeff, what you need to do is make sure that you challenge him. You say, hang on, hold it right there. We're on the same level, officer. And if they're going to continue to lie, you say, I have no choice but to call you a corrupt, bent cop. You see, calling a corrupt cop, it awakens them. It says, hang on a minute, I don't want to be called a corrupt cop. So you'll find that's the best way to stop the predatory behavior. Are you with me?
Certainly. Well put, Doctor. Now, as a lot of the viewers know, the corruption in the police force is rampant.
Oh.
And this is a very serious subject because it's the corrupt police that really drag the whole reputation of the entire force down, the officers with honour and integrity. It makes them look bad, and it tarnishes the whole name.
You know, what you're saying there is the truth. It takes one rotten apple. You see, you got to understand that one officer that commits the offense or does the misconduct upon an innocent person, the whole force has to cover up because they expect to get the same treatment. And that corrupt assistant commissioner Russell Barrett, you're a corrupt cop because you lied on 60 Minutes with the guy they said when, you know, that had his head, you know, paralyzed, dislocated because they pulled it off almost. He says that, oh, you know, every kind of investigation done by professional standards reflects on him. So if they're not doing their job right, it reflects. Well, hey, I wrote to you. He didn't do anything to investigate and identify the truth. So what you're saying there is a lot of corruption. And the reason for that corruption, because not one independent body will apprehend an innocent person. In other words, apprehend means to bring him into innocent. Instead, they basically turn him to become guilty and letting the officers say no inappropriate misconduct. And if you're not happy with that decision, you can go to IBAC. And then IBAC turns around and says, no, they've already made a decision. We can't have the power or the jurisdiction to overcome that.
Very good, Doctor. Now, it's been said that there's a lot of rogue police on the force. They don't play by the book. They follow their own rules.
Yes.
And they look at the members of the public like prey.
Yes.
And the predatory behaviour has to come to a stop. What would be your advice to someone that's analysed this type of behaviour and wants to get justice?
You know, the best understanding when you say what the advice is, depending on in the situation, you need to understand that if you're innocent and you've never done anything wrong, you are more powerful. Did you know you're more powerful than the officer? When the officer does wrong and tells lies, he's already, that's it. His authority, the badge is out the window. Because they're sworn under the section policy that they have to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And they're going to try, like you said, these rogue cops will come in and try to play their, muscle tone. The best way you say is, excuse me, Mr. Officer, I've done nothing wrong. What are you accusing me of?
Very good.
Very simple. What are you accusing me of? And that's not always, they're always saying, oh, hang on. No, what are you accusing me of? Now, what you're accusing me of, you're going to have to clear my name once you discover that I'm innocent. How beautiful is that? I say to all the cops, and they're like, oh, hey, whoa, wait a minute. So if they are being rugged, and if they are going to do what you're saying, rogue, and they're going to do dirty work, they know, they say, look, man, you're not welcome here anymore. Like Sergeant Basili, they try to set me up. You're not welcome. See you later.
Yes, very good advice once again.
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
Now, a lot of people feel targeted. They've come under police attention, and now they can't seem to break away from that. The spotlight's been put on them. People tend to view them in a whole negative way. Now, if someone was feeling like they're being targeted, they can't seem to break free from police harassment,
Yes.
would you advise that they move out of their area? Should they relocate?
No. The best solution to stop a cop from, targeting you, like you said, and that's known as predatory behavior. To continue on is simple. You need to film him, take a picture, and say, you're a corrupt cop. Submit it to him. Submit it to everyone. That's the only way a cop backs off. And I'm telling you, it works. Because when you start calling Sergeant Bolsino's a corrupt cop, he's like, whoa. Because all eyes are looking at him, and they know that. So that's the answer. I find it works all the time. When you call a cop corrupt, what you're saying is, hey, mister, you're a dishonest police officer. Now, I don't know if you know the story of Mr. Galucci when he started calling an officer, Stephanie Zapatura, a corrupt cop. What took place was there was a court proceeding, and have a guess what took place? The magistrate says, well, if he's corrupt, and, calling Stephanie Zapatura a corrupt cop, then hit her for defamation. And you know what the QC bars they spent thousands of dollars? You know what they said? Oh, that's not as easy as that, Your Honor. Why? Because he's telling the truth? I rest my case.
That's priceless information.
Very priceless.
Always make sure that you have your mobile camera out.
100%.
Film these officers while they're executing their
100%.
duties.
You have the right to film.
Absolutely. So that way it guarantees that they're going to uphold the law because they know that they'll be held accountable with that footage.
That's right. And then you call them corrupt. Then you say, hey, you, Sergeant Wassel, you need a milk bottle? You're a corrupt cop.
Very good. And that will give people relief, knowing that there's not going to be any underhanded tactics being used.
And may I say, why do you say underhand tactics? When you call a cop corrupt, do you know you got nearly the entire half of the police force on your side? Think about it. These officers say, hey, man, this man's corrupt. Well, seeing us, hey, yeah, I know him. And the police officers come up and congratulate you. You know, every time Mr. Galucci being congratulated, hey, man, I love what you do. I love you calling this cop corrupt. And some will admit, yeah, he is. And like Raptor 13. You heard about Raptor 13. See what happened to him? She spoke up. People spoke up. Hey, he got the boot. He should get the boot. That was horrible what he did, what he said.
Absolutely. Because a lot of these police officers, they don't follow the law like they expect everybody else to. And they skirt the course of justice. And a lot of people are being charged. And it's unwarranted. And this affects so many people's livelihood, doesn't it?
That is very good when you said that.
And there has to be substantial evidence before it goes to trial. So if you get the feeling that there's a lack of evidence, then definitely push forward, full rights, take it to the highest level.
Well, when you mean, remember what I said, this is important, what Jeff's saying here, is that if you feel that what you've done is you've done nothing wrong, you need to question the officer. It's very simple. If an officer says, listen, we believe that you're taking some drugs. Excuse me? What did you say? All right, this is between you. That's like a fight. It's between you and me now. I'm not interested in the lawyer. I'm interested in you. Hey, hang on, man. I'm just doing my job. I know you're doing your job. But if you're incriminating me, and then they get so tough and macho, it's just what? I'm going to call you a corrupt cop. And you know what? 100% the officer sits back and says, okay, I've been busted. I know I'm doing something dodgy here. I don't want my face up in that billboard. And it works. I'm telling you, the only way Galucci could have been in jail by now. He wasn't, because he went out there and fought for us, for the community. He fought for everyone to say, hey, he's just an individual, that copper. If he's going to come at you with a false allegation, you know what to do now. You need to say, hey, you have a choice. You give him an ultimatum.
Absolutely. Well said. And as they say, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So don't think just because they're a sergeant or an inspector or even a commissioner that they're going to give you a fair trial of your rights, that they're going to give you a fair encounter. This isn't always the case.
100%. What you mean by fair encounter is, do you know the only way they give you a way out of it is how well you challenge them and you put them to the test. Believe it or not. You can see when Mr. Galucci put Sergeant Wassel to the test, hey, you seen on the video where you're not welcome here. Remember Sergeant, the corrupt cop Sergeant Basile? If you look at the video, you're not welcome, man. And he says, see you later, make up your mind. Because they knew, hey, this guy's going to put us to the test. And that's exactly what you're saying. You know, the hierarchies and all that, it's only when you get put to the test. Because they don't know you. But when they know you're going to stand up, a lot of times they walk away.
And that's when we see a lot of cases dropped.
Yes. Yes.
That's what happens when you put because they have a burden of proof that they have to
100%.
submit the evidence against you. And if that's not there, you'll find the case being dropped very quickly, won't you, Doctor?
Yeah, because in what I'm saying about going on about if you don't challenge the officer and say, I'm going to call you a